Charlotte.
Hey, Ashley.
Welcome.
Ah,
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited just to chat with you and share more about my program.
Yes, absolutely. So we have Charlotte Huffman with us today, and she is a yoga teacher, but also the founder of A Breath of Fresh Air. So we're excited to introduce this program to the dance world and to dance teachers specifically as well.
I think
So,
it's a great
yes.
connection.
Yes. So we know each other from taking yoga, which I'm so
Yeah.
excited that we met each other. We used to take class together, and now I take your classes and
Yes.
what? So
I still remember the first time I met you.
do you
Yeah, I do.
tell
I
me?
don't know why I remember it so well. I think it's because I knew Jess and I
Yes.
love Jess and her classes. And somehow I was like, okay, that is Jess's sister. I want to meet her. I know her from across the room. And then
Right.
it was after a 6 a.m. sculpt, we were putting our weights away and I was like, hi, I'm Charlotte. And I just I don't know why. I've just always felt so drawn to you. So I appreciate just
I feel
this
the same way
connection.
to
Yeah.
you. Yes. Isn't it crazy? Like it seems like forever ago that we were taking 6 a.m. sculpt together.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it.
I know, the good old days, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love
So
it.
what made you make the transition from, and I know that you still take class, which is awesome.
Mhm.
And sometimes I feel like teachers lose that. Like once they become a teacher, they're like, well, I don't take class anymore. But you still take,
Mhm.
but what made you make the transition to becoming a yoga teacher?
So I've been practicing yoga since I was in high school and just always really fascinated by the movement and more so just the mental release that went along with it. And in college is when I really dove into my practice through Core Power. And one of my favorite teachers there, Christy, always encouraged me to do teacher training. And finally, the stars aligned. I had graduated college, I was in my full-time job, it just worked out time wise. And I really went into the training with an open mind in the sense of I just want to learn more and deepen my practice. I'm a natural learner and a student for life. And um, so I went into teacher training just hoping to expand on that and then fell in love with the practice of teaching. We'd get up there and do practice classes with each other and other students and just love the aspect of creating space for for other people in the room and then seeing them walk off of their mat with the big smile on your face, the post yoga bliss.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's hard, definitely full-time working, teaching yoga, taking yoga, making that fit in. And some weeks are better than others, but I notice a huge shift when I teach more than I actually take, right? I'm still a student and a teacher for myself. And I know if I don't get my practice in, I'm not the best teacher for my students.
Right. Absolutely. I'm so glad. Well, I love what you just said there. Like you have to keep practicing to be the best teacher for your students. And
Yeah.
I also love how you mentioned that you had a mentor in Christy who
Hmm.
encouraged you to take the next step with your yoga training and to become a teacher. So,
Yeah, I was actually just talking to her about that the other day, and I told her, I
yeah.
was like, I didn't, never thought I'd actually teach. And she was like, oh, I definitely knew you were going to teach. It's she can just see that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I definitely, there have been weeks where I would teach, twice a day or every day. And by the end of it, my cup wasn't filled. And so I made a really strong commitment to myself that if it ever got to be a chore or, I had to teach more than I got for myself, I would give it up just because that wouldn't be fair to myself or to my students. You got to
Right.
practice what you preach.
Exactly. Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your program.
Sure. So a breath of fresh air was just kind of born out of quarantine, to be honest. So I, earlier this year was laid off as part of the quarantine shutdown and let go from my studio along with a lot of other teachers, and it was hard to be let go of that community. And I mean, I'm not the only one. And I was essentially just trying to find more ways to share yoga. And so I still like teach group classes and I love that, but I wanted that one-on-one experience more so in a way that I could share my journey with anxiety, and share my like passion for yoga and how those two can intersect. So I created this program. It's a 6-week long, I think of it more as like a yoga journey. That's how I talk to my clients about it.
Right.
And each week builds on each other. Do you want me to go into those details too?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So each week we have a different aspect of it. And the first week we talk about our breath, so pranayama. And breath is the focus and the central point of our yoga practice. And so we go through different breathing techniques and how it's related to anxiety relief and how we can incorporate it into our daily life and practice. I really wanted my clients to be able to walk away from day one, week one, with a tangible just tool.
Yeah, the
Weeks
connection
2.
between yoga and your breath and then real
Mhm.
life. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Weeks 2 and 3 are all about our physical postures. So our asana. And we go through posture clinics, which is something that we do in teacher training, and I've never seen it anywhere else. And I love it. It breaks down each and every posture. You talk about the energy lines of the posture, the benefits, the contraindications. Um, so yeah, it's week 2 and week 3 are like the meat of the program in the sense of the physical practice. Week 4, we go into meditation. And so we'll talk through guided meditations that you can do on your own. And I think meditation is a really, really like broad topic in the sense of like you think about enlightenment and all these things. I really just want my clients to know like they can step away from everything for literally 30 seconds, breathe, and they will be meditating just so that they can clear their mind and know that they are in control of their anxiety. So we go through a whole bunch of different self-guided and guided meditations. Week 5, we talk about check-ins and the importance of check-ins for yourself during anxious times. And I think that was a really pivotal point for me, working with my therapist that I still work with, working with myself more so than anything, is just learning how can I have check-ins within the minute, within the hour, within the day, where I don't lose control of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And then the final week, week 6, is kind of like at the end of our practice, we go from Shavasana to fetal pose. So I'm calling it Shavasana. How can we bring this off of our mat and incorporate it into our daily life? Like it's one thing to learn about it in these 6 weeks, but it's another thing to apply it. And I kind of think of it as like my allergy medicine. If I only take it when I need it, like it's not going to do what it needs. Whereas the practice of breathing and yoga, it can be a daily practice, and that's when you get the true benefits. So overall, those are the 6 weeks. And then each week you get 3 pre-recorded guided flows that they can do anywhere, anytime. And then the last 3 weeks, at the point that the meditation week starts, you get 3 pre-recorded meditations to do in addition or separately from your flows.
This is incredible. This is such a great program. I love
Thank you. It's been really fun to create. And I think because I connect to it so well, I've had anxiety and struggled with that literally since I can remember. And it really ran the race in the past few years and kind of spiraled into depression. And it's been hard, and I connect with that.
Right.
And I think yoga has been such, I don't know, just a huge piece of my story.
Yeah, absolutely. Why do you think so many people now are experiencing higher levels of anxiety?
There's a lot there. I mean, from a personal standpoint, I can think of like 3 main things.
Okay.
Lack of control, like control over our government, control over what's going on with, COVID and the pandemic as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like lack of control within like, I don't know, even like our families and our finances. And I mean, job loss is hard. So I think lack of control is a huge piece, especially for me. I think it's like the decreased amount of understanding of what's going on too, and just like the not knowing piece, especially like I'm an engineer, I love science, so like not understanding like the general basis of COVID and like what that means. That's just scary.
Right.
And then also like, I think a big thing that I'm starting to realize is not being able to rely on our daily routines and like our, I guess just like going to the yoga studio, that was like a daily thing for me that kind of kept me grounded. And now that's in the same space as like my office and my bedroom. And like, it's just way too close for comfort sometimes. So I think those are like the biggest things that I'm seeing in both my clients, my students, and myself that are really causing a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the everything that you said and having a consistent pattern and then that pattern totally shutting down. So I feel like there's sometimes this perception where it's like, oh, you're feeling anxious, well, just don't. Or you're feeling depressed, well, just don't be sad.
Right,
And
right. Just
there,
get up and do something.
go
It'll
do
be fine.
something. You'll be fine. Just go do something. But I feel like this is just part of our world now. And because of all of these things that we have going on, the internet and social media constantly in our face.
I was just about to say social media is definitely a culprit of that.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
I have to take breaks from it all the time because it's just it's hard. But like it's also hard right now. I've been thinking about this a lot. It's like a core source of connection right now, right? Like
Right.
technology, social media, like how else would we keep up really? Like we can't physically always see each other, but like we can keep each other up from our phone and like that constant connection, it's good and bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so
Yeah.
it's something that this is part of our life now. So we need to learn
Mm,
how to have uh, just systems in place so that we can control anxiety and depression and things like that. And just saying, like, this is
exactly
going to
it.
happen, and you're probably going to feel this way. Maybe not every
Mhm.
single day, but you will feel this way. So, what can we do about it so that it doesn't get to be too much on you? So that's why I really love this program. It's just like a really great check in on, okay,
Mhm.
well, how can I control this and where can I go from here?
And I
So,
think exactly what you said is correct with the systems. Is like that's what I want the biggest takeaway for my program to be. It's not like a prescript like yoga is going to make you feel better, breathing is going to make you feel better. Like that's not what I'm trying to share. I'm more so sharing these tools and these techniques that you can put into place for your own self and your own day-to-day life that you can fall back onto rather than your anxiety being in control of your life, which I get. Like it's hard. Like it comes from our primitive brain telling you that you have to be in control and you're going to be scared. And like,
yeah,
I mean, there's just so much science to it too, which I love, but at the same time, like I want to be in control of that.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I'm a dance teacher, and this is for dance teachers and dancers in general. And as you know, just the whole entire world, but specifically the dance world, has just turned on its axis. Studios have closed, and now when we are allowed to go back, everyone has to stay super far apart. And these are all these things that is just becoming part of our world now. And dance teachers are kind of doing the unthinkable. They're doing things that we've
Mhm.
never had to do before and making plans that we've never had to plan on before. So, how do you think this program can help dance teachers specifically and dancers?
I think they would love this program in the sense that it is movement and it's mindful movement just as dance is, right? And you can really connect to it whether you're listening to music or not. And then also they can incorporate the movements, the music, the breath into their dance routine, into their teachings even. I think breathing is one of the biggest gifts that we have, and it's underutilized too, in the sense of like it's innate, it's free, but being able to control that is directly correlated to being able to control our breath. So like in those times of heightened anxiety for the teachers and dancers alike, having these tools in their toolbox that they can fall back on and that they can rely on and share with each other. Like that's one of the biggest things that I've always admired from my sister's like dance experience is how it's a family. Oh my goodness. It's just like those are your people. And like being able to walk, I can't imagine being able to walk into your dance studio and not be able to like hug everybody and like share that. But being able to share through your breath and your movement is just as powerful. And one of my clients is a dancer, and she, or I guess was a dancer. I feel like y'all are always dancers, like
Always.
for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
But yeah, I was comparing one of the movements. I was like, I'm not a dancer, but this is kind of like dancing. She's like, oh, it's definitely like dancing. It's just like that physical movement that, like, I don't know, it just like connects to your soul. And I truly think that especially teachers right now, given everything going on, having that carved out time for like themselves, because they're in constant roles of giving and teaching and sharing, like being able to fill up their own cup so that they can share more, like, I guess, genuinely for their people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I was teaching a class a few months ago before all of this, and I noticed that as the students were doing the combination, they weren't breathing. And there's this thing sometimes
Oh,
in dance where you just kind of like hold your breath. I mean, not like that type of,
right.
literally, you're not like using your breath properly. And it's something that I
Is it
really,
just like a natural tendency that they have?
it is. It is.
Oh,
And it's something that growing up dancing and being a dancer, you're not really taught how to breathe properly. And
so
so it's not
interesting.
something that has been on my mind really to include in my dancing until I started doing yoga. And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, and just like, I mean, just everything is going to be so much easier. Just getting into, there's like this thing where you do développé with your leg and you extend your leg up, and just using your breath to be able to get up instead of holding your breath and sitting in the posture. So,
Yeah, and for me, I would think of that as an inhale because you're moving up and away. And then
right.
as you bring it down, be an exhale, which is what I love about yoga, is like it connects your breath to your movement and helps you like use your breath as a tool to deepen you into it or loosen you back.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is a great thing, just the
Love that.
idea of breath being incorporated more into the dance world. And
Mm-hmm.
just, oh my goodness, to extend stamina as well for all the,
Oh, yeah. Your lung capacity, it's
mhm,
amazing what you can do when you exercise that. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So I have some lightning rounds for you where I'm just going to ask you 5 just random questions and just
Okay.
tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
I love this.
All right. So, what is your favorite TV show?
Ooh. Ah, Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I was like leaning on the fence of Gossip Girl, but
Yeah.
like I think Gilmore Girls is like my tried and true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a classic. So
It
good.
really is.
All right. Number 2, your favorite snack.
Ooh, chocolate? Is that a
Yeah,
snack?
that's a good.
I think chocolate.
Have a specific type of chocolate that you like the best?
I love dark chocolate, like
Oh, you
85%. Mm-hmm.
wow.
There's a type that's like Theo's, it's sea salt, so it's like a little salty and sweet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that with like a little bit of cashew butter. So
Yeah.
good.
Ooh, yummy. See, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a milk chocolate person. I wish I could train my
Okay.
taste buds to like dark chocolate more. So,
I feel like you're either milk or dark.
yeah,
It's
it's
just like one of the things.
right. It's just a thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I guess like that's more of a desserty snack. I like blueberries too a lot, but
Oh,
I think chocolate like right now has just been like,
chocolate, give it to me. Yep.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So if you had a day to do whatever you wanted to do, no restrictions, no anything, what would you do?
Oh my goodness.
You're like, that sounds amazing.
That sounds phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Like no COVID or anything?
No COVID, nothing, no restrictions.
Man, I would definitely go to a yoga studio and get a nice hot practice in.
Yes.
I would go and get like a cup of tea at my favorite coffee shop
Yeah.
and bring my book and read and probably get my nails done
Uh-huh.
and go on a walk
Just
and just like
paper day.
yeah, like a good self-care day,
Yeah.
mental health day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Probably hang out in my garden a little bit and take a nap with my cats. Yeah,
Oh,
that would be like a day in life of Charlotte if I had no
such a
restrictions.
good day. Yes.
Yep.
So speaking of books, what's your favorite book that you've read or one of your favorites?
Mm. This is a recent, but I think it definitely is on my top list. Love Does by Bob Goff.
Oh, I've never heard
It's
of it.
Oh, I think you would love it. I think it's such a phenomenal read. It's a Christian book, and it relates how everything we do in the Christian faith and just in our life in general should be related to love, and how love is an action, and like sharing that love with everybody, regardless of your faith or, what's going on, like is what shines true each and every day. And
Yeah.
I just like how they put it in the perspective of it's an action, right? We can do actionable service and whatnot through the gift of love.
Right. An action. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so then the fifth one is, do you have a favorite dance memory?
I have a few.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I have two actually that kind of come off to the top of my head.
Yeah.
One is, so my sisters are dancers, or I guess they were competitive dancers. And one of my sisters danced in college, and I would go to nationals with them every year. And I was not a dancer, but it was so fun to be there with all their people and like be backstage with them and it's interesting when you talked about the breathing. I do remember them coming off stage and then just like huffing and puffing for breath and trying to grasp. But yeah, just being there with their people and getting them dressed in makeup and watching them just shine on stage. I think that's just like one of my top memories. And then in college, one of my sisters danced at USC, and she was dancing at a basketball game, and I didn't tell her I was coming. And I showed up with her now fiance, then boyfriend, and my family, and she was out in the middle of the basketball court. And when she saw us, her jaw dropped and she just stopped. Like everybody else was dancing and doing their thing, and she just like froze. She was so surprised.
That is so sweet. Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing that. I'm so excited about your program. Thank you for
Thank
telling
you
us
so
more
much.
about it. And where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Charlotte Rose Yoga. It's just all one word, no caps, no dots, no spaces. From there, I post almost daily regarding like current classes, both online and in person. I have a free 20-minute video linked into my bio. So in case you just want to dabble into the yoga space, but be completely like at your own home and everything, you can sign up for it on there. And yeah, always reach out with questions, and I'm happy just to connect and get to know everybody and share yoga.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Charlotte. You are amazing.
Thanks, Ashley. This was so fun. It was good to see
Yes,
you.
you too. All right, bye.
Bye, friend. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.